I was just talking with one of my fitness clients, and he said he's going through this brutal breakup right now, and that he just feels this huge lack of purpose. Like all the things that he used to really enjoy doing, like going to the gym, his hobbies, hanging out with friends, like he's not really enjoying those as much anymore. And he said the word he used specifically was, I feel like I have a lack of fulfillment right now. Like, yes, I can be happy, but I'm not fulfilled right now. And other things are going pretty good for him too. Like he just recently started a new career, his dream career, and he's working on a bunch of different things right now. But the thing is, he's not feeling purpose. Like, what is my purpose? And so I asked him, what specifically are you feeling? Like, what kind of pain are you feeling right now to the point where you feel like you are lacking purpose, aside from obviously going through a breakup? And he said one of the biggest things that he's actually feeling is judgment from others. Like, he's afraid of the judgment. And he's a smart dude, like, he's a tough dude as well. So it's almost interesting to hear how, like, even sometimes the toughest people still fear something. And when he has said this fear of judgment, he's specifically talking about like just a variety of factors of, well, I want to start posting on social media. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to post, but I want to start posting something. But I know people are already going to have comments, and everyone's going to have their 2 cents on what you should do and how you should go about this and how to maneuver that. And I'm like, yeah, they will. They definitely will. Everybody always has something to say. Everybody always has a comment or a recommendation and whatnot. And so with him specifically, he's afraid of that judgment, afraid of what people are going to say and how people are going to treat him. And he brought up the point that he said, I hear all the time, like, random people will support you more than your closest friends and family, so to speak. And he's not necessarily wrong about that either. It's kind of weird how that works, where you would think that the people around you, the people closest to you, are like your number one supporters, but when you're doing something that they either don't understand or it's out of their comfort zone, they don't necessarily get it as much. And so with him specifically, fearing the hate and, what are my friends going to say? What is everybody around me going to think? There's always a time and place for everything, because it's pretty cliche now to be like, oh, don't care what anybody says. Like, we all know that, but it's so much easier said than done. And one thing I realize when it comes to that is that people kind of like to put you in a box. Like, random people don't know, your flaws. They don't categorize you in their mind in a specific way. So much easier to meet a random person, have a blank slate, and then help craft that and carve that blank slate, as opposed to someone who already knows you. They have a bunch of preconceived, memories, notions, whatever about you that they have learned over the years. So they have you set as a certain way. Like, if you're not the funny guy, yeah, I'm probably not going to laugh at a joke if you tell it, just because, like, you're not the funny guy. You know what I mean? And with that, it's so much easier to get support from randoms and other people than it is from the people close to you and the people around you. I'll kind of give a quick little anecdote as well. Obviously, I'm posting YouTube videos. I'm an online fitness coach. I have a fitness page. Like, I have all this stuff going on. It's literally my full-time job. But last year, I pretty much had 10 days off the entire year. I was working 3 jobs, 2 other coaching jobs for other companies while trying to create my own business. And I realized, I'm like, hey, I'm grinding right now. I'm in the trenches. Like, this sucks. And you almost don't feel like, no matter who you're telling, like, they actually understand it, because they're not living it with you. And I did have, and don't get me wrong, I had support. I had support in my corner with a variety of people, but when you have so few people that actually understand what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis, it becomes so much harder for others to understand what you're trying to do. And even the people close to you, you might be able to tell them, but they aren't living it. Like, you might have some of your best friends that just don't get it. And I remember when I had only 10 days off or whatever it was last year, it's almost like no one really cared. No one really bothered. Not that I needed any sort of like pity party or praise or anything. It was just like, oh yeah, whatever. And then all of a sudden, when this became my full-time business, people were, started waking up a bit, like, oh, really? Wow, how'd you do that? That was kind of fast. And it's like, no, it took me literally an entire year before I could actually do something with that. So it actually took forever, and I was working my butt off with stuff. But people don't realize that. They didn't realize that I've won until after I've actually won. When you're going through the process of something and you are struggling, you're in the trenches, like no one really cares, for lack of better words. And I think a lot of people out there don't even, including myself, like I don't think we necessarily need the praise or the I guess the praise, or just like not even like pity party. It's more so like I just want recognition. I just want someone to kind of notice, like, hey, that's pretty solid. Like, I see what you're doing. I just want someone to notice that. Like, hey, I am putting in this work and I am trying to get to this goal. But until you've actually achieved that goal, it's like, yeah, no, I don't really care. It's like, how many NFL players have you seen that they come from the trenches? Everyone hates them. Everyone's hating on them. And then all of a sudden they're in the NFL and everyone's freaking riding them. They can't get enough. They can't say enough good things about them. But when he was grinding and he's putting that work in and eating freaking ramen in college, like nobody cared until he actually blew up, got famous, became an NFL athlete, that sort of thing. And I think that's how a lot of people view it too. Is like we don't necessarily, we just want that recognition from doing a good job and putting in that hard work. So that's why I think other people will support you, like random people will support you, because they don't have any pre image of which you were. And it's easier for them to see like, oh yeah, that's a hardworking dude. That's an ambitious guy. Yeah, I'll follow you. You know what I mean? And especially with my client, he's like, yeah, I want to make content of some sort. I just don't really know what to make. I know that, having some sort of social media presence is probably important now. And he's a very charismatic dude. He's a very fit guy. Like he has a lot of things going for him. He's honestly very successful in the multiple careers he's working in right now. And so he has a lot of things going for him. And the thing is, no matter what you think people are thinking, there's always going to be some sort of judgment. Whether or not you are posting videos, it's like, oh yeah, he's too scared to post. Like he doesn't have the balls to do that. So now you're already being judged because you're not doing something. And then once you start doing something, it's like, oh yeah, well he's just cringy. Yeah, of course he's cringy. He's posting these weird videos. But who cares? Who cares, bro? You're LARPing right now. Who cares? No one cares about you. And that's kind of just that's just kind of how that works. But you'll notice that no matter which direction you take, people are going to hate you regardless, especially if you're a decently looking dude, if you're in decent shape, if you're making money, if you have stuff going for you, people are just going to be like, oh yeah, that guy's more handsome than me. He's more charismatic than me. Yeah, F that guy. I don't like that guy. And that's just how a lot of people's brains operate. And it's almost crazy because you don't think that people actually believe that until you start to witness it on, pretty much social media, just in general. All these no name, no profile pictures, just commenting stuff. And one thing I told him is like, dude, you never, as cliche as it sounds, you never receive hate from above. Because most of the time, some sort of hate towards you is quite literally just a projection from other people. I'll even notice this with myself, where when I start to get angry, I start to get frustrated, I start to, take that anger out on the people around me instead of focusing on myself. It's always because something with myself is going wrong, not necessarily because everyone around me is doing something else wrong. Like there's a common denominator there where, let's say something was going bad with one of my clients, or something in my business, or something in my personal life, something's going wrong. And I'm like, what the heck is happening here? Or maybe I was lazy for a few days and didn't put enough work in. I'm like, what's going on here? It's usually a me thing. No, I need to take care of this problem, instead of saying, oh, this person annoyed me at the gym today because they said this and that person said that. And it's like, no, it's not really everyone around you. It's more so yourself. That's why we call it projecting, because you're projecting on to somebody else. And that's most of the time you're receiving hate like that. It is because someone either sees something in you that they know they can't have. There's some sort of envy to it. Oh, that guy has, like with my client, for example, he has a great work ethic. It's like, you know what? He has a great work ethic and I don't know how he does that. So therefore, I can't get myself to work that hard. Now I don't like him because he's like cocky and stuck up and he thinks he's all that because he can work hard. You start to get these mental images created of you by other people because they don't understand you. They don't get you. And it's pretty cool because one of the best pieces of advice that I got regarding getting hate and hate comments is that my girlfriend actually gave me this one. She said, like, all these people dropping these comments, especially when it's completely unrelated to the video. Like they're just saying, "Oh, your hair looks stupid. Your physique is mid, whatever." All of those people are essentially just like NPCs. They have such little they have so little going on in their life that they literally need some form of entertainment, and they need to start this drama, and by attacking other people, it makes them feel better about themselves, essentially, because they're pretty much just losers. And a lot of the times too, I realize like some the people that will comment specific things, I'm like, yeah, I don't want you here anyways, if that makes sense. You're not my kind of person regardless. So like I don't care if you keep scrolling. Now whether that means getting in shape or starting a certain career, people are just always going to have something to say anyways, especially the circles around you, because it is outside of your box. It is outside of your limit. It is a change, and a lot of people just can't adapt to change, and they don't necessarily like that change. For example, I have a private personal Instagram account, and then I also have my fitness account where like that's where I run my business and whatnot. And I'll notice that a lot of times it'll be random people or acquaintances that will comment, they'll send me messages. And then sometimes I'll notice that, especially in the beginning, I have friends who won't even watch, like, comment unless a video blows up or something, and then it's like, oh, now they're in the comments. And it's kind of weird, but it almost helps you realize that as you continue to deal with hate and the more hate you get, you start to learn very quickly who's a real one and who's not. Like who's actually supported you along the way and who's actually recognized and maybe even praised you or maybe even was there for you while you were working on these things and actually trying to change yourself. Because the reality is like most people won't, and most people don't have time for that, and most people don't care. And now on the flip side of things, when it comes to actually caring about what other people think and that judgment, most of the time we are so in our own worlds, we don't even realize. People are so tunnel vision in their own lives, they cannot break outside of what they are doing. Some people, for example, my brother and I were talking to someone recently, and they were telling us a story, and they just started using names from their life, their story, and whatnot. And my brother and I are like, we have no idea who these people are. But to that person, all those names make sense. And all those names are their own person and individuals. And this is how they played into the story. And my brother and I are literally like, okay, I have no idea. Who are these people? Do we need to know their names? Usually we just speak in general terms. Oh yeah, and he said to her that blah, 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 blah. And that's usually how it goes. But people are just so honed in on what they are doing. They don't even think or actually care about what you're doing because they just forget. Because 5 seconds later, now something else happened to them. If you ever seen those videos online where this guy will run out into the middle of a crowd or a street, record himself, no one cares what I'm doing right now. Everyone's gonna go on with their day. We're just gonna, we're just living here in our own worlds. And everyone walks by him. They kind of look at him, whatever, and then they just go on. They probably forgot it happened, or they probably didn't remember 24 hours later. And more often than not, that's what people think, is that you think about you more than anybody else does. So it's kind of relieving in a way, because the more that you can realize and disassociate from other people's mentality and like I'm so focused on who X, Y, and Z are thinking and what are they thinking about me? Does this make sense? Does this help me? Are they talking ish behind my back? It's like, bro, they honestly don't care about you that much anyways. I know it might sound a little bit straightforward or a little bit harsh, but like so many people like don't actually care about you, and they don't actually feel the need to connect with you on a deeper level. So I realized one of the best strategies that I've used to actually help me get over the fear of being judged or fighting that judgment from others is first of all just realizing so many of these people are NPCs. They do not care about me nearly as much as I think. And then on top of that, for the let's say the people that do know you, that you feel like they're talking behind your back, or everyone's always got something to say, it's more so you have to feel bad for them that they feel that way. Like you almost want to, I view it as, I almost pity the people that are talking down on me for doing something that I love doing, I'm passionate about, like goals, because it's different when you say you want to achieve a goal, but then when you actually achieve the goal, it's, people treat you differently, and people always have a something to say essentially about that. They can't comprehend what you are trying to do, and that is not their job to comprehend what you're trying to do. But at the same time, like you almost have to feel bad that they feel the need to, you almost have to feel bad that they don't have the drive that you might have. They don't have the ambition you might have. They might not have the work ethic that you have. Maybe you just like take good care of yourself and you look more attractive, and they just hate you because they don't even shower and they're barely like paying attention, like getting a haircut once every 10 months and whatever. They're not paying attention to themselves and trying to help get themselves better, whereas you are. And not everyone can handle that, not everyone can take that, especially because they can't do it themselves. So when it comes to being judged, when it comes to dealing with hate, I realize a lot of times it's just jealousy, and it's not actually a you thing, but it is something that you're just going to be judged regardless, no matter what you do. You're either too scared to do something, or now you're cringy for doing something. So pick your poison, pick your heart. But the one thing that you can't forget is that by you not doing anything, now down the road, 5 years, 10 years, you have regret, and regret is one of the worst feelings that you can possibly feel, because that's not something you can change. Dang, I should have done that. Because you can't go back in time. And you're like, wow, I wish I started that business, or I wish I asked that girl out, or I wish that like I took my health seriously when I was in my 20s. Now I'm 54 years old. It's not as fun anymore. And I think avoiding that regret is sometimes more powerful than the actual drive of the goals that you're trying to achieve. And so that's just how I view it. And this is what I told my client as well. So hopefully that helps people out there. Just some food for thought. And as far as everything goes, I absolutely love talking to my clients, is because fitness, it's all great to have workout programs and help them with their nutrition and their habits and develop this lifelong skill and whatnot. But fitness just lays the foundation for something so much deeper. And if your head isn't in the game, then it is very tough for you to actually get fit, lose weight, build muscle, lean out, if you can't get it together up here. And that's what I help my clients out a lot with as well. If that is something that you feel like aligns with you, and that is something you need to get your head right as you are leaning out and getting fit, there's a one-on-one coaching application in the description down below. Feel free to fill it out. No pressure. I'll reach out to you. I'll see what I can do for you, and then we'll just go from there. In the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.